welcome back to Open, everyone. So our next guest is a legendary photographer dubbed by the New York Times as the man who took hip-hop's baby pictures, okay? Hello. His flair for photography developed at the age of 9, and, well, the rest we can say is history, literally and visually. All right, so growing up at the heels of his grandmother, dynamic leader and activist Dr. Evelina Antonetti, and his father, Joe Conzo Sr., longtime confidant and historian to Tito Puente, well, he's been able to capture the community throughout decades with an authentic perspective. Joining us to tell us more, we welcome legendary photographer Joe Conzo Jr.
Thank you, Rhina. Thank you, and happy birthday.
Thank you, honey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so happy you are here.
Yes.
In all aspects of saying so.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And we'll get to that in a moment. But just before anything, I just want to say that you are an absolute inspiration of what it means to live in purpose. Because, you know, at 9 years old, right, picking up a camera, capturing, I guess, the horrific experiences that were occurring within the Bronx, right, during a certain time period. I mean, there's a lot of resilience in your story, aside from the artistry. So let's just give everybody a taste of all these decades and what, I guess, drew you to capture the way you do.
Well, as a kid, you know, I was that chubby little kid, and I'm pretty sure you've heard it a thousand times with the Angela Davis afro and this, that, and the other. And I wasn't that athletic or good with words, but, you know, my stepdad at the time, who was an amateur family photographer, you know, put a camera in my hands, and I just gravitated to taking pictures of my friends in the block, the neighborhood surroundings, and it just blossomed into a passion and love affair where, you know, fast forward 40 years later, almost 40 years later, this kid from the South Bronx has been to Bulgaria, Asia, Tokyo, London. I just came back from Germany, and all because I took pictures.
So
It's
so dope.
freaking amazing.
It is amazing.
It's freaking amazing. You know what I mean? And just, I've been blessed and I've been humbled.
And you know, I just mentioned Flavor Flav, but you've got him on record.
So yeah,
when
I
he
mean,
was wearing the big
Flavor
clock,
Flav,
right?
Yeah, Flav and I go way back, and God bless him. You know what I mean? For his resiliency also. You know what I mean? And for his contribution to the genre of hip hop. But I mean, I was just fortunate enough to document a time of the Bronx.
Right.
You know, that we were going through a big struggle. And, you know, as a kid, I didn't know any better. So, you know, if you didn't grow up in that private house with a white picket fence, you don't miss it. So the abandoned buildings were our playgrounds, and we had fun.
Right.
We had fun.
You made the most out of it.
We made the most out of it.
And you captured it. And you captured it with artistry. And not only that, you are the historic record of it. Right? I don't know how many people know how your images are actually stored in Cornell.
Yes, I was fortunate enough that I was approached, you know, years ago. I had put down the camera, dealing with some personal issues and stuff like that, and, you know, got a call years later about licensing one of my images, and I called my mother, who, you know, rest in peace, she died in Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. I said, Ma, you still have those boxes of negatives that I had? She goes, yes, you know, I still have them. And, you know, I just started going through my images, and, you know, it's hip hop, you know, hanging on my dad's coattail, taking pictures of Tito Puente, Hector Lavoe, Celia Cruz, who we used to call Titi. And it's just, you know, I had such an abundance of images from like 77 to like 85, you know. It was just phenomenal, and Cornell reached out to me and, you know, said, Joe, can we do this? And I said, yes, as long as X, Y, and Z is taken care of, where it's digitized and it's available to the world. And you can go to Cornell Hip Hop Collection right now and see over 10,000 of my images. Wow. And do research. And real quickly, my images sit on the same shelf as the Gettysburg Address.
Yes, yes.
How freaking cool is that? You know what I mean? But they're preserved. They're preserved. Because God forbid there's a fire in my house, you know, flood. We hear all these horror stories, master tapes, you know, John Coltrane's music lost, this, that, and the other. You know, so it's preserved. It'll live on. and I retain ownership of it.
And
even
you
better.
retain ownership of it. This is amazing. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And thank you so much for sharing that, because I think it's important that we also understand that we have to preserve our stories.
We have to tell our story,
Right.
our narrative,
Right.
our way, not let
Right.
anybody else tell
Exactly.
it.
Right. Correct. And so, again, as he mentioned, all these stories are accessible at Cornell. How awesome is that? So let's talk about this book.
So this book, I was approached by Kevin Fitzpatrick, a phenomenal writer and author, and he said, Joe, we're doing a book on 111 places in the Bronx that you must not miss. It's a series, and it's done by a German company.
Oh,
Out of
wow.
all, I mean, German.
Oh, yeah, pues que tú eres
You
internacional.
know,
Pues
so,
claro.
and it was like, Joe, we can't do this book without you because you're the premier Bronx photographer, la, 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 whatever. And I said, okay, let me check it out. And I learned so much about, I thought I knew everything about the Bronx. My first book called Born in the Bronx, I have it tattooed here and this and the other. I thought I knew.
I know, I have a pin that you
Yeah,
gifted
yeah.
me with Born in the Bronx. You have the T-shirts, Born in the Bronx.
So I thought I knew everything.
Right.
But Kevin's research and my input, we put together this book that just came out over the summer. And real quickly, I mean, the Lincoln Memorial, I think every kid has been to in Washington, D.C. That big old statue. That MF was built right here in the Bronx on Willis Avenue. Who knew? Who knew that that statue was built here
Wow.
by the Piccarelli brothers
That-
on Willis Avenue?
That's in there.
And it's in the book.
That's what's up.
You know, Batman was created here in the Bronx. You know what I mean? So it's all these little historic things, touristic things, and you know, the Tats crew did the cover. I had to
Yeah,
get
of
the
course.
Tats crew in
That's
there.
it, Bronx
and-
Familia.
Yeah.
And so people can find this book.
They can find it on Amazon, and it's 111 places where, you know, if you're, you know, ever in the Bronx, pick it up, go check out some of the historical, fun places to visit and enjoy.
And so we don't have much time, but I do want to acknowledge you, and I do want to mention to our viewers how you also served as an EMT for the fire
I
department.
just retired from the fire department after 27 years. I've been retired now for about 13, 14 months.
And you went to September 11th, and unfortunately, you got cancer, and you beat cancer.
So far, it's been 3 months since my last chemo treatment. I was diagnosed with liver and pancreatic cancer, secondary due to 9/11. It was not something I was looking forward to in
Right.
retirement, but, you know, as, you know, my mother and grandmother used to say, no hay mal que por bien no venga.
That's all.
And the good that came out of this was my resiliency and the love and support from you and everybody around the world. So it's been 3 months since my last chemo treatment, and so far so good. I still got my hair.
That's it.
Wearing skinny jeans.
That's what's
looking
up.
good,
That's
and
it. You rocking it,
just,
baby.
you know,
Rocking it, rocking it.
just
Yes,
came
we
back
are
from
rocking
Berlin
it.
and getting back into the
Ay,
groove of
mío,
things. and
mira,
yeah.
mira. He
Yeah.
like
And,
viajando
you
y
know, my
todo.
t-shirt.
And yes, that's the
That's
infamous
what I have cancer.
And long live. May
Thank
you
you.
may you live a long, blessed
you.
life. Long
you.
live you. Long live your documentation.
Thank you.
And here's to our future.
Love you.
Woo, love you too, Joe. Thank
you.
you for being here on my
Yes.
birthday edition.
Yes.
All right, it's significant, you know. All right, every day counts. You guys, once again, for more on Joe Conzo and his photography, please be sure to visit joeconzo.com and follow him on Instagram at Joe Conzo. All right, we got to take a quick break, but coming up next, we'll learn about a series exploring history abroad. Don't go anywhere.